I'm glad you're here today because we're going to explore a topic that matters deeply to so many older adults, keeping blood pressure stable and manageable, even in your 80s and beyond. If you've ever felt that familiar twinge of anxiety when you see a higher than normal reading on the blood pressure monitor, you're not alone. It can feel disheartening to wonder if your next outing or family celebration might be overshadowed by the worry of sudden spikes or dips. The good news is, there are ways to approach blood pressure holistically, ways that honor your body's natural rhythms and capacities without making you feel like you're stepping onto a medical roller coaster. One challenge that often surfaces in our 60s, 70s, and beyond is the feeling that health concerns start to pile up. Blood pressure issues may get lumped in with other ailments, stiff joints, difficulty sleeping, or changes in appetite. And it's natural to think, I'm just getting older. Maybe this is how it has to be. But that belief can unintentionally limit us. Addressing blood pressure in a balanced way can ease other health challenges too. More stable blood pressure can mean better energy, less tension in the body, and greater confidence to enjoy daily activities like gardening, taking walks with friends, or even playing with your grandchildren or great-grandchildren. Why does this matter so much? Aside from the obvious fact that steady blood pressure can help us avoid scary complications, it also shapes how we show up in life. Are we able to join that trip to the local farmer's market? Do we say yes to an evening family gathering without worrying about feeling lightheaded? When blood pressure is balanced, life feels more open and inviting. We become more capable, more willing to engage with the moments that make our later years truly rich and rewarding. Today, we'll explore 7 holistic approaches that can help you find that sense of stability, even if you're 85 or older. These methods weave together gentle physical activity, nourishing lifestyle choices, and mindful habits that support not only your cardiovascular health, but your overall well-being. Imagine a future where you can stand up confidently, notice your blood pressure remains calm, and move through your day with a lighter heart. That's the promise of transformation we'll be working toward. While we're not discussing any miracle cures, and it's always crucial to consult your healthcare providers, there's a world of evidence-based practices that can bring more steadiness into your life. These 7 approaches have emerged from a growing understanding of how mind, body, and spirit intersect in health. Over the years, I've had the privilege of guiding many older adults through gentle, impactful changes that help them reduce the number of roller coaster days. Those days where you might feel pressure creeping up, only to plummet by evening. By applying a few simple strategies, people have found their blood pressure readings inch closer to the healthy zone and stay there more reliably. Before we get started, I'd love for you to reflect on your biggest concern about blood pressure. Does it keep you from an activity you love? Has it caused you to avoid certain outings? Your answer could spark an aha moment about where you want to focus your energy. Feel free to keep that question in mind as you listen, and maybe share your thoughts if you have someone watching with you or in a supportive community you trust. Now let's dive deeper into 7 holistic ways to stabilize blood pressure, even at 85, so you can feel confident and in control of your health journey. The first way goes against a common assumption many of us have been told for years, that exercise, especially in older age, might be too strenuous and could aggravate blood pressure concerns. Surprisingly, the right kind of movement can work wonders. Many seniors think they have to choose between rest and vigorous workouts, as if these are the only 2 options. But there's a middle ground, gentle, purposeful activity that supports cardiovascular health without pushing you to the edge. Nancy, 81, once believed that any form of aerobic exercise would strain her heart. Her doctor had advised her to take it easy after a brief spell of dizziness, and she interpreted that to mean sitting in her armchair for most of the day. Over time, her blood pressure fluctuations became more pronounced. Then she joined a simple chair yoga class in her community center. She started with basic stretches and slow breathing exercises, nothing that made her sweat buckets. Within a few weeks, she noticed her blood pressure readings began to even out. She felt more in tune with her body, and her daily highs and lows weren't as extreme. What was happening behind the scenes for Nancy? Moderate, low-impact movements like chair yoga, Tai Chi, or gentle walking help improve circulation, helping blood vessels become more flexible. Flexibility in blood vessels can make it easier for blood to flow without those dramatic surges that cause higher readings. Another hidden benefit is that slow, mindful movement often helps reduce stress hormones, such as cortisol, which can have a direct impact on blood pressure. If you want to explore this approach, here's a practical way to start. Pick a moment in your day when you're already standing or sitting comfortably, perhaps after you've had your morning tea. Commit to 5 minutes of slow, deliberate movement. This could be seated hip rotations, gentle arm lifts, or a slow stroll around your living room. Focus on taking deep, steady breaths to calm your mind as you move. Over time, you can increase to 10, 15, or 20 minutes if you feel up to it. The goal is consistency, not intensity. Physically, gentle movement helps your heart stay healthy by gradually conditioning it to manage blood flow more smoothly. Emotionally, it can boost confidence. There's something empowering about realizing that you're not too old or too frail to move. You'll likely sleep better too, because gentle activity helps regulate your body's internal clock. And who doesn't want a better night's rest to start the next day feeling refreshed? If you're wondering whether this might conflict with any medical advice you've been given, just have a chat with your healthcare provider. Ask if they can suggest a safe level of activity for you. Most often, they'll be delighted to support a moderate movement plan. It's also crucial to watch for any symptoms like dizziness or extreme fatigue. If that happens, pause and reevaluate. This is about gentle, healthy movement that supports stable blood pressure, not pushing past your comfort zone. As you consider dipping your toes into a gentle movement routine, think about a small, concrete step you can take today or tomorrow. Maybe it's something as simple as standing up during television commercials and doing a few side steps. A tiny, consistent habit can have a surprisingly big impact over time. Now, as you keep that in mind, let's explore an approach that many seniors overlook when trying to manage blood pressure: mindful, balanced eating. A lot of older adults have heard the standard advice about cutting down on salt. While that's often important, there's more to nutrition than just sodium intake. One misconception is that as long as I avoid salt, the rest of my diet doesn't matter. However, it's the overall balance of minerals and nutrients that can stabilize blood pressure, especially in your golden years. George, 86, had spent most of his life avoiding salt because he had a family history of hypertension. Unfortunately, he replaced salty chips with sugary snacks, assuming that avoiding salt was all that mattered. His blood pressure remained erratic, sometimes even spiking higher than before. Upon closer look, it turned out his sugar intake was affecting his weight and his blood sugar levels, which indirectly put pressure on his cardiovascular system. A registered dietitian suggested a more holistic approach, focusing on potassium, magnesium, and calcium intake through foods like bananas, spinach, and yogurt. The reason this works is that minerals like potassium help balance out sodium in the body, promoting better fluid regulation in your cells. Magnesium helps blood vessels relax, and calcium supports healthy arterial function. By shifting George's focus to nutrient-dense meals, think of a bowl of oatmeal topped with fresh berries and almonds, or a roasted vegetable medley seasoned with herbs. He saw steady improvements in his blood pressure readings. If you're ready to try this approach, start with small changes. Maybe add half a banana to your breakfast, or sprinkle a handful of spinach into your soup. Incorporate beans or lentils into a stew for added magnesium. Opt for low-fat dairy sources like yogurt or cottage cheese to get calcium without excessive saturated fat. And yes, keep an eye on overall sugar intake. Too many sugary foods can lead to weight gain and metabolic issues that end up complicating blood pressure control. Physically, when you nourish your body with these vital nutrients, you support the tiny mechanisms in your blood vessels that regulate pressure. You might also find you have more consistent energy throughout the day. Emotionally, eating well can provide a sense of comfort and self-care. Food is deeply personal, and by choosing wisely, you're reinforcing the idea that you deserve to feel good. If you're wondering if you have to give up all your favorite treats, the answer is no. This isn't about punishment or extreme restriction. It's about finding a daily rhythm of balanced meals, with occasional indulgences if they truly bring joy and are part of a sensible plan. You might be surprised at how much variety you can enjoy while still keeping your blood pressure in check. Now we've covered gentle movement and balanced eating. How are you feeling about these ideas so far? It can be enlightening to see that sometimes the smallest shifts can lead to big changes in how our body responds. If you're following along and something resonates, you might even jot down a quick note or two. Let's move on to a critical aspect that often stays in the background, yet plays a powerful role in blood pressure management: stress and emotional well-being. Many seniors assume that stress management is all about lying on a yoga mat or learning complicated meditation techniques. That misconception can make the idea of reducing stress feel like yet another daunting task. But daily relaxation doesn't have to be complicated. Even a few strategic deep breaths can begin to shift your body's stress response. Take Mildred, 77, who found her blood pressure spiking whenever she worried about finances or argued with a family member. She thought stress was just part of life, something that had to be endured. Then she discovered a simple breathing pattern called box breathing, where she inhaled for a count of 4, held her breath for 4 counts, exhaled for 4, and paused again for 4. Doing this a few times a day took only minutes, but it had a lasting impact on her emotional state. Over the next few weeks, her nurse noticed her readings gradually dropping, indicating better blood pressure control. What's the science behind this? Chronic stress releases hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, which can narrow blood vessels and elevate heart rate. Over time, that can push blood pressure to climb. By intentionally calming the mind through slow breathing, guided imagery, or even prayer, you help your nervous system return to a more balanced state. Implementing this can be simple. Pick a routine moment, perhaps before you eat lunch or when you're settling into bed, and spend 1 or 2 minutes focusing on your breath. Inhale slowly, hold if it's comfortable, then exhale gently. If you prefer not to count, visualize a soothing scene, like a peaceful lake or a soft breeze moving through trees. If tech is your friend, you might experiment with a relaxation app or a gentle music playlist. Physically, reducing stress helps lower the strain on your heart and blood vessels. Emotionally, you're giving yourself permission to pause and recenter, which can make you feel more resilient overall. You may find yourself reacting more calmly to situations that would have previously sent your heart rate soaring. This might seem too simple to be effective, but one of the greatest surprises is that straightforward techniques often have the biggest impact. Give it a try for a week and see if you notice a difference. You might also share this practice with a friend or family member. Pairing up can keep you both accountable and add a social aspect that makes it more fun. We've now covered 3 key strategies: gentle movement, balanced nutrition, and stress management. Let's take a quick moment to check in with yourself. Which of these feels most natural for you? Which might be a bit challenging but worth exploring? Sometimes naming our initial feelings helps us stay on track. Moving on, let's address a topic that doesn't usually come to mind as a direct blood pressure stabilizer, yet it plays a bigger role than we often realize: quality sleep. The common assumption is that sleep problems are just part of aging, and many seniors believe they have to live with fragmented nights and restless mornings. But sleep is a major pillar in managing blood pressure. Joseph, 84, used to toss and turn at night, then doze off in the afternoon. His blood pressure was highest in the early morning, right when he woke up feeling groggy and out of sorts. With some guidance, he implemented a regular bedtime routine, turning off the TV earlier and choosing soothing music or a warm bath before bed. Over time, his morning blood pressure readings started to level out. The simple act of consistently better sleep contributed to more stable energy and healthier cardiovascular function. When we sleep, our body goes into a repair mode, regulating hormone levels, including those that influence blood pressure. If we shortchange our sleep or keep an erratic schedule, we can disrupt this natural cycle. Over time, this disruption may manifest as elevated or unpredictable readings. Consider making small tweaks to your nighttime habits. Shut off bright screens at least 30 minutes before bed, dim the lights in your room, and engage in a calming ritual, maybe reading a lighthearted book or practicing those slow, steady breaths. If joint pain keeps you awake, explore pillows or cushions that ease pressure on sensitive spots. White noise machines or gentle fan sounds can help if you are in a noisier environment. Also, talk with your healthcare provider if you suspect an underlying sleep disorder, such as sleep apnea, which can significantly affect blood pressure. Physically, better sleep supports more consistent blood vessel function and reduces nighttime spikes in stress hormones. Emotionally, a good night's rest can make you feel more balanced and positive throughout the day, which makes it easier to maintain those healthier routines you're establishing. If you're resistant to changing your sleep habits, you might remind yourself that restful nights can be a gift you give your body. It's not just about lying in bed, it's about refreshing your entire system. Think back to a time in your life when you woke up truly refreshed. Imagine feeling even a fraction of that energy on a regular basis in your later years. So far, we've journeyed through gentle movement, nutrition, stress management, and quality sleep. If you're still with me, fantastic. Take a breath and think about how these elements might weave together in your daily routine. Let's transition now into a topic that some might find surprising as a blood pressure stabilizer: the power of social connection. We often believe that blood pressure is strictly a physical condition, influenced only by diet or exercise. Yet isolation and loneliness can have a tangible effect on heart health. It's a misconception to think that keeping to yourself is always the best way to remain calm. In many cases, the right kind of supportive social interaction can be a gentle balm that helps regulate blood pressure. Roberta, 79, noticed her blood pressure was consistently high whenever she went to the clinic. She realized she was anxious not just about the readings, but also about being alone most days. After her husband passed, she rarely ventured out. At the suggestion of a neighbor, she joined a small church group that met for coffee and light conversation each week. Spending an hour chatting about day-to-day life, sharing stories and a laugh, ended up making her feel calmer and more relaxed. Over the next few months, her clinic readings started to improve. The emotional support we get from connecting with others reduces stress-related hormone surges. It also encourages us to stay more active, physically, mentally, and socially. Even online communities can provide a sense of belonging if in-person gatherings aren't feasible. The key is finding a circle, large or small, where you feel seen, heard, and valued. How can you apply this? If you haven't seen an old friend in a while, call them or invite them over for tea. Check local senior centers for classes or discussion groups. Engage with your faith community if that resonates with you. Even short interactions, like a quick chat with a neighbor, can help break the cycle of loneliness and contribute to a more balanced emotional landscape. Physically, when your body is less weighed down by loneliness or unresolved sadness, stress hormones are less likely to spike. Emotionally, feeling supported can remind you that you don't have to face health challenges in isolation. It can be a huge relief to share both triumphs and frustrations with someone who understands. If you're shy or feel awkward starting new friendships, remember that many people around you are probably feeling the same way. Taking the first step can be an act of courage that ends up boosting your overall well-being. In fact, you might find that joining a group or getting out more also nudges you toward more physical activity or better eating habits, simply because you're engaging in life more fully. We've now explored 5 ways to stabilize blood pressure. Let's pause for a moment. If any of this is stirring new ideas or questions for you, that's wonderful. It means you're actively engaging with the possibilities. Let's move on to a crucial area that often gets oversimplified: mindful approaches to medication and herbal supplements. There is a widespread misconception that more meds automatically mean better control. Many seniors juggle multiple prescriptions, and it's easy to think that adding one more pill to the mix is the only solution. But the key lies in coordinating with your healthcare provider to understand exactly what each medication does, ensuring they work together without negative interactions. Arthur, 88, was on 5 different medications for blood pressure, cholesterol, and pain management. He found himself feeling dizzy some mornings and extremely tired in the afternoons. After requesting a comprehensive review of his medications with his pharmacist and doctor, they discovered 2 of his prescriptions were causing overlapping side effects, exacerbating his dizziness and fatigue. By adjusting the timing of certain doses and discussing whether one medication could be replaced with a different class of drug, Arthur not only felt more alert, but saw more consistent blood pressure readings throughout the day. If you feel overwhelmed by multiple medications, don't hesitate to ask for a review. Pharmacists and doctors expect these conversations, and they can help clarify how each medication works, why you're taking it, and whether the dosage remains appropriate for your current age and health status. Sometimes even losing a small amount of weight or making a dietary change can reduce the need for certain medications. In other cases, an additional medication might be necessary, but only after ensuring it won't conflict with the one you're already using. Regarding herbal supplements, approach them with caution and professional guidance. While herbs like hawthorn or garlic are often praised for supporting cardiovascular health, they can interact with prescription drugs. Always let your healthcare provider know if you're considering a supplement. They can offer advice on which supplements might be safe and which to avoid. Physically, getting medications right can significantly reduce side effects like lightheadedness, swelling in the feet and ankles, or sudden spikes in blood pressure. Emotionally, feeling knowledgeable about your treatment plan fosters a sense of empowerment. Instead of viewing medication as a confusing list of pills, you'll understand why each one is part of your routine, or whether it can be modified. If you haven't done so in the past year, consider scheduling a medication review. It might be a phone call with your pharmacist or an in-person appointment with your primary care physician. Ask questions, take notes, and treat it as a collaborative effort. You deserve to feel confident in the treatments you're receiving rather than just following instructions without clarity. That brings us to the final holistic approach to discuss: proactive self-monitoring and consistent check-ins. A lot of older adults have the misconception that if I feel okay, I must be okay. This can be risky because blood pressure is often called the silent killer. It can creep up or down without clear warning signs. Patrice, 85, never liked taking her blood pressure at home, saying it stressed her out. She'd wait for quarterly doctor visits, only to find that her numbers were sometimes higher than expected. Her doctor suggested monitoring at home twice a week with a simple wrist or upper arm cuff, taking note of the readings and how she felt at the time. After a month, they pinpointed that her pressure was higher after certain meals and in the late afternoon. Armed with this information, Patrice adjusted her meal schedule and opted for a brief relaxation routine before dinner. Her readings improved, and she felt far more in control. Self-monitoring doesn't have to mean obsessing over every number. It's about noticing patterns and catching changes early. If your blood pressure climbs or dips unexpectedly, you can respond with timely strategies. Maybe practicing those breathing exercises or discussing a medication adjustment with your doctor before it becomes a bigger issue. Physical benefits include avoiding those dangerous spikes or crashes that could lead to complications like fainting or undue strain on your heart. Emotionally, seeing incremental progress on the monitor can be very motivating. It offers tangible proof that your efforts, whether dietary adjustments, better sleep, gentle exercise, or stress management, are actually helping. Starting this might be as simple as picking up an easy-to-use blood pressure monitor. Many modern devices come with large digital displays and automatic inflation, so there's no need to fuss with stethoscopes or guesswork. Keep a small notebook nearby to log the date, time, and reading. If you notice a significant change, jot down what might have caused it: a stressful phone call, a salty meal, or poor sleep, and discuss these observations at your next checkup. Now that we've walked through these 7 holistic methods: gentle movement, balanced nutrition, stress management, quality sleep, social connection, medication review, and self-monitoring, I'd like to remind you that each approach can be adapted to your unique lifestyle and preferences. There's no single perfect method for everyone, but by experimenting, you'll find a combination that suits you best. You've just absorbed a lot of information, so let's tie it all together in a way that feels both clear and motivating. When you take these steps consistently, however small they might feel at first, you set yourself up for more stable blood pressure readings. That stability translates into greater peace of mind, fewer worries about sudden health scares, and more freedom to live life on your terms. One of the reasons it's wise to begin now, or step up your efforts if you've already started, is that blood pressure issues can become more challenging to manage if left unaddressed. But there's no need to panic. Instead, think of it as an opportunity to invest in your future well-being. Each day is a fresh chance to tweak a habit. Add a nutrient-rich snack, go for a gentle stroll, or practice a quick breathing exercise after an upsetting phone call. Over time, these small daily acts add up to a noticeable improvement in your cardiovascular health. Picture yourself waking up in the morning, checking your blood pressure, and seeing a reading that reassures you. Then imagine stepping confidently into your day, knowing that you set a strong foundation for your heart and mind. Visualize accepting invitations to family gatherings without the nagging fear that you'll have to excuse yourself because you feel faint or fatigued. Even if your steps are gradual, like introducing just one or two of these strategies, you'll likely see benefits that ripple into multiple aspects of your life, from mood to mobility. If you're ready for action, you have several ways to move forward. For starters, pick one technique and try it for a week. Maybe you'll start with gentle daily stretches and see if they help your morning readings. You could also decide to monitor your blood pressure more frequently, noting any patterns that emerge. If you're someone who likes community support, share your plan with a friend, join a local class, or talk with a family member about making mealtimes more nutritious together. If you prefer to keep it private, set a personal goal and track your progress in a journal. If you feel comfortable, you might also share your insights or questions with your healthcare provider at your next appointment. They can help fine-tune these approaches to fit your medical situation. Another great step is to connect with others who are also aiming to stabilize blood pressure. Sometimes hearing a success story from someone else in their 70s or 80s can spark fresh motivation and a sense of kinship. Finally, remember that you are the ultimate decision maker in your health journey. Your years of life experience have given you wisdom about what works for your body and what doesn't. By blending that wisdom with these holistic practices, you can craft a personalized approach that respects your unique background, conditions, and preferences. Instead of seeing age as a barrier, think of it as your advantage. You've gathered decades of insights about your own rhythms, strengths, and challenges. You deserve to feel strong, capable, and calm in the face of health concerns. Even at 85 or older, you can cultivate the stability and vitality you need to keep enjoying the things and people you love. Your heart, your mind, and your spirit all play a part in this journey. If you take even the smallest step forward, you've already begun. And that in itself is a powerful gift to give yourself each and every day.